Hello, hello. Good evening. Happy Wednesday. Welcome back to our weekly chat. I am so glad that you are here today, whether you're watching live or you're watching the replay. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it as always. I see our friend Andy has made it gold star for the first comment of the night. Andy, he's brewing up. Got 5 minutes. Merry Christmas. Thank you, Andy. That's so sweet. And Lissa is here as well. Hello. So good to see you all. I feel like I just ran a marathon. I have been cooking HelloFresh meals for most of my cooking, if not all of it. I might have cooked almost exclusively HelloFresh meals since I've been here. We're trying to turn my in-laws on to the world of subscription food services because they otherwise won't keep food in the house. They won't keep food in the house. Trudy, hello. It is so good to see you. Welcome. Glad you're here. And so we decided that while we were here, we'd take advantage of some of like the beginner offers of that all of the food subscriptions, Blue Apron, HelloFresh, Green Chef, Home Chef, all of those offer. And we opted for HelloFresh because this is not sponsored. Um, it was when we started doing them at our house, I really liked the food that HelloFresh provided. And just the recipes were good. I learned a lot of stuff from them that I continue to use in my kitchen to this day. And the only problem with HelloFresh is it is not one of the meal kits where your produce comes prepared for you. When you have carrots and onions in a recipe, you get an onion and you get big honking carrots that you have to peel and chop yourself. And I always, without fail, every single time underestimate the amount of time it's going to take me to manage the produce. Every single time. We had a turkey pot pie casserole thing that was delicious. It was so good that I wanted to have done by 7 because I try not to cook on Wednesdays at all. But because of the way things worked out this week, we ordered out Monday. Everything got kind of messed up. We ordered out Monday and then we ordered from Olive Garden and we had so many leftovers accumulating in the refrigerator that I didn't need to cook yesterday because we had enough food. So today's the first day I had to cook this week, which is wonderful. But I severely underestimate every single time. And it's Florida. It's hot. I get so freaking hot when I'm in the kitchen here that like I literally was like sweating. I'm a hot mess right now because I was cooking. I was like, man, it's like another workout. But it's okay. It took me longer than expected, but the meal came out on time for me to be able to sit and eat with my family. My father-in-law was actually home to eat with us at the table, which was lovely. And here I am. Here I am. I was done eating at 10 till, and I was like, well, this was great, guys. I'll see you in an hour. But it was good. It was good. I love HelloFresh. Yeah, I have not had a meal by them that I haven't liked. They've all been knock out of the park delicious. You remember my actual name? Oh, of course. I try so very hard to remember all of my regulars' names. I try so hard. It doesn't always work, and it sometimes takes me a couple of weeks of recurrence, but I remember. It helps that you have a little hint in your name. That makes me very. I love when people do that because it helps me out a ton. Um, I think my favorite thing about HelloFresh is that the recipes use regular ingredients. Yes. Yeah, that's 100% true. And so we were talking about Green Chef is the one that's prepared, right? I'm trying to remember. HelloFresh, regular, Green Chef will give you pre-mixed sauces, because we wanna try one of the ones that's prepared. Because here's the catch, my mother-in-law won't do the work of chopping all of the things. So, while I'm here, this is great because 'cause I'm willing to put in the work to actually do the cooking, but if I'm trying to get her to cook fresh, good food, it needs to be foolproof, y'all. It needs to be foolproof. So, what is the one that has the, like, pre-chopped onions and is that Green Chef? I can't remember, but that's what after Christmas, because 'cause we're gonna skip HelloFresh for a few weeks because my sister-in-law is supposed to get here, and then there will be 5 of us, and they don't have 5 serving meals. Um, but we've been having leftovers for a lot of it anyway. That one dish, we made a pasta dish that was like 900 calories a serving. We were able to eat it for 2 days. It was so much food, and we have leftovers of this too. We've got, like, at least a serving and a half left, even though it was only 4 servings. So, like, we're lowering the calorie content of this food, and then here's the best part. It's mind-boggling to everybody at the table. It's cracking me up. So me, the one who tries to encourage eating, eating real food and balanced meals and all of those things. And so my mother-in-law eats junk, basically. Um, and my husband tries to eat, like, he eats lean and low cal and everything, but he snacks a lot in the evening. He's constantly needing to eat. So he has dinner and then he'll have like crackers or popcorn and then he'll have dessert. Whereas me, I will do dinner, dessert, done. Right. So the other day, as I was talking through this week's meals from HelloFresh with my father-in-law, and talking about how many calories they were, because there's some pretty heavy hitters: 740 calories, 900 calories, 1,000 calories per serving. We had these delicious but really messy burgers that, with the potato wedges that I made, were like it was like a 1,000 calorie meal. It was amazing, but it was 1,000 calorie meal, and for a lot of us, all of us went 1,000 calories on a meal. Think about it though, y'all. If generally speaking our maintenance is around 2,000 calories, we can have 1,000 calorie meal and still have 1,000 calories left to work with, right? I'm making sweeping generalizations here. But what was hilarious is that, we had the burgers one night and my husband was complaining about the calories that I've been putting in. He's like, why are you picking the ones that are so calorie heavy, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, look, if you don't like it, don't eat the whole serving. Like, I'm less worried about picking the calorie conscious option and more worried about picking the option that my mother-in-law would eat. That's what we're going for here. We're going for prepping food that everybody at the table will be happy with, right? Lo and behold, tonight's dinner discussion was, since Brianna has been making dinner for me, for my mother-in-law, I haven't been snacking. I haven't been hungry. And I'm not only am I making her eat big dinners, but I'm also forcing her to eat healthier things at lunch. She will start a day, she'll have a Fairlife shake, and then she will eat nothing, and then she'll have chocolate chip cookies, and then she'll eat nothing, and then she'll wonder why she's hungry the rest of the day and keep eating like snacks and sugar and carbs and all those things. Now that I'm here, I go, you can have this, but first you have to have something with protein in it. And so she had a salad with shrimp in it today. And lo and behold, she looks at me and she goes, I have not been feeling the need to eat constantly. And then I looked at my husband and I'm like, and how have your snacking habits been since we've been doing these things for dinners? And he goes, I don't think I'm really snacking in the evening. I'm sitting there going, wow, what profound and completely unexpected results from eating real meals with bigger calories. I was like, oh my gosh, you all are like the perfect example of why it's important that we eat meals, you know? So I thought that was funny. But all that to say, I was in a hot rush today, but the meal came out delicious and I'm full and everything is fine now that I am here. So recipes at home, got to catch up. I'm so glad. I'm so glad, Trudy. Glad to have you. Green Chef have some Home Chef actually has meals you basically just dump into aluminum tray. Yes, we've tried Home Chef a time or two. My friend, what are you doing? We talked about this last week about the calories that you need to eat. So do my parents. One of the hardest things since living with them now, my dad usually tries things, at least depends with my mom. Yeah, it is the hardest thing. And I know, and my father-in-law is like at a healthy weight. Like, he just doesn't have a good schedule. He's an oral surgeon. So he works all the time. All the time. The fact that he was home in time for dinner tonight was not normal. And he came home from work at like 5:30, 6 o'clock on Monday, and I about fell over because I was like, "What are you even doing here? Do you even know what it means to be home this early?" Um, but um lost my train of thought. So he like, and he will eat like when he orders out lunch and whatever, he'll get a salad. Like he's reasonably health conscious with a sweet tooth, kind of like me. My mother-in-law, no. But I know that New Year coming around, she has some health goals that she needs to meet and she needs to lose some weight. And so she's got me here to kind of help poke at her now. And we talked about all or nothing mindset just yesterday while we were out on the couch. I was like, this is what I see with a lot of my clients and myself too. I had to change this mindset myself. And I talked to her about that. And she goes, that's exactly my problem. I'm either all in and doing great or I don't care and I eat junk, you know? And so we're working on that while I'm there. So I have real-time clients here, but like what I'm doing is I'm fueling my husband. I'm making sure that my father-in-law, the breadwinner and man who needs to stay fueled, is actually staying fueled, and teaching my mother-in-law healthy habits all at the same time while selfishly being able to feed myself healthy food as well, you know, because I don't play the cook different foods for different people based on their dietary things. I'm like, I am happy to cook as long as you eat what I cook and I don't have to make something different for you, you know? So, um, that's where that is. But anyway, let's chat. We've got a couple questions submitted today, but first, I would love to hear about some of your highs and lows this week. My low is actually that Aunt Flo came and she beat the living crap out of me. It was bad. It was bad. So tomorrow's vlog is a conglomeration. I feel like I say this every time, but it was one of those things where, like, I vlogged what we did on Saturday, which was awesome. And then I was PMSing so bad on Sunday. And then Monday, I just, wow, wow, it was bad. Um, so I didn't pick up the camera again until Tuesday, and then Tuesday was still, like, day 2 of everything, and so I still was not feeling awesome. I wasn't in excruciating pain like I was on Monday, so everything's just kind of a little conglomeration tomorrow, but that's okay. Um, and so I'm finally getting back on the mend, but it was brutally bad. It is, I'm not gonna lie, it is the reason that this morning, if you saw on my Instagram, I was very proud of myself because I decided to be an adult and make myself breakfast before I had coffee. I have not been good about having my breakfast, having food before coffee. And I can't help but wonder if that was one of the reasons my period was so bad this month, because that can jack up hormones and things like that. So, my misery from this past couple of days is the reason that I decided to do that, and I will continue begrudgingly. I love the routine. I love the routine of getting up, pouring myself a cup of hot coffee, and just sitting in quiet time, journal time, whatever, especially here out by the big fresh Christmas tree and seeing the river and the palm trees out the window. Like, I love that routine. But if it's not if it's not doing good things for me, I need to do something different. I need to do something different. So that was my low. My high was we had some nice Christmas festivities, and I'm also taking a new course about called HB90. I will talk more about it in upcoming videos. It's a new planning thing by the YouTube channel Heart Breathings, and I am going through the boot camp now and I'm really enjoying it. I'm really, really enjoying it. And it's kind of giving me a different perspective on how to allocate my time, how to look at how much time I have, set goals. What's the difference between a goal, a project, and a task? All of these things. So by the end of the week, I'm using HB90 specifically for my business goals. All of my other goals, my personal goals, are all set in Power Sheets, Moxie Life, things like that. And those are all done and ready to go. And so, which I'm really, really excited about. But so HB90 is going to be used, at least for now, exclusively for business goals. And it's already, so by the end of the week, I will have my tasks, my projects, my goals, everything. We wrote out our goals today. I only have 2, but I'm very excited about it. And the way she just lines things up for you, makes things really inspirational, but also makes you feel like you can do it, which is really great. So I'm loving it. I still have a couple days left. It goes tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday as well. And then I've completed the boot camp and know what I need to know, and I can start to implement the practice for Q1, which is super exciting. So that's probably my high for the week. Are complete mess, and they both occasionally claim to Claire, but it's all talk. Yeah. Unexpected $600 car repair. That stinks. I think I caught something from my nanny kids. Oh no. Oh no. Finding red or green sweaters in my colors, and when I do, it's cropped. Cro- Cropped is in right now. I don't understand it. I don't like it, but cropped is the style. Whether you are big or small, cropped is in for you. Mm-mm. Not. I'm not into it. I like to cover all of my tummy. Thank you very much. They're kind of meh. Just finding fun, colorful Apple Watch bands considered to be a high. Not a super high week, and that's fine. You don't have to have super highs. My girl is almost home from college for Christmas. I love that. Oh, that's so exciting, Trudy. Money and scale, but I'm trying to just do the best that I can right now. Sometimes that's what you got to do, Trudy, is just your best. And so good for you for keeping your head high. All right, friends, keep it coming if you want to share some more highs and lows. But Rosie's here. Hi, Rosie. Good to see you. But let's do Q&A time. Ask me anything. And I have a handful of questions from here on Instagram. I did not, obviously, due to the whole dinner saga that I told you at the beginning, have time to come in and type them in. So you're just going to have to bear with me. People on the replay, I apologize. But I have a handful of questions here. New ones came in since last time I looked. Fantastic. So we are going to start with, what is your favorite perfume? I don't even know. So there's one perfume that I have that I don't think they make anymore, which is, I mean, let's be honest, a lot of the perfumes that I love, they don't make anymore, which makes me so sad. One perfume, if y'all can find this for me, and believe me, I've looked. And the only place you can maybe find is like some shady website somewhere. Um oh gosh, it was called Miss Me. It was called Miss Me. Miss Me perfume. What was the Stella Cadente? That's what it was. It was called Miss Me by Stella Cadente, and it was this beautiful rectangular purple bottle with like purple crystals on top. I think I remember what it smells like, but it was one of my, I don't even know if it was one of my first like fancy perfumes, but I loved the smell of that. And I can't find it anywhere anymore. And then I think there was why am I telling you about the discontinued ones? I have no idea because that wasn't the question. But there was one by Lancome. Is Lancome the one that does Miracle perfume? Um, but there used to be one called, I think it was called Miracle Forever. Lancome Miracle Forever. I could also be, oh, it says Miracle Forever discontinued. Miracle Forever, lo and behold, also appears to be in a purple rectangle. Yes, maybe I'm mixing up both of those perfumes, but I swear that there was one called Miss Me by Stella Cadente. Miss Me, Stella Cadente. That comes up as in a search result too. It is okay. Okay, I lied. The Miss Me Stella Cadente is in a round purple bottle with crystals on it, so I did combine the two. The Lancome Miracle Forever, which is different than Miracle, is a rectangular purple bottle. I loved those two perfumes. There was also one called, the scent was Fizzy Tea. The scent was Fizzy Tea. I remember the store in Woodfield Mall that I bought it in. The store doesn't exist anymore, but I went to, it's a Hannah Anderson now, but every time I walk by it, I think of this because it was like my first, I don't know if it was like a Sephora type store. I can't remember. I was probably like 12 or 13, maybe 15. And my aunt and I were shopping as we normally were. We frequently went to the mall and went shopping. And we went to this thing, and that is this store. And I got that perfume. It was in a little green thing that had like a hook. So you could like hook your finger and like tape it or like clip it to something. And then under the hook was the place that you pushed. And it was like a lime green color. And it was called, the scent was Fizzy Tea. And I loved the way that smelled. And that was that same day, and that same store was also the day that I got my first high-end prestige makeup brand product. And it was an eyeshadow duo in a square container by Too Faced Cosmetics. I have the picture of both of those things drilled into my head. I don't know what store it was. For all I know, that could have been Sephora at the time. I don't remember the name of the store at all. But I purchased those two things at that store in that little corner space that is now Hannah Anderson in Woodfield Mall, and I think of it every time I go. But my current favorite perfumes, which I think is also discontinued. Marc Jacobs Lola. That's what got me on the discontinued things. My favorite perfume is Marc Jacobs Lola. I have 2 bottles floating around my house, and it is the perfume that I only wear on date night. And it is the perfume that I have worn since my husband and were dating, that I would wear when I saw him. So it's like the scent memory thing. So when I wear that perfume, he knows it's date night, or he knew when we were long distance, he knew he saw me. Like, that's the smell he associated with me. And so it's one of my favorite perfumes. I really, really do enjoy it. My favorite summer perfume is by, I don't know how to say it because it's French. But Replica is the name of it's like Mission Margiela or something like that. It's available at Sephora. Maison Margiela Replica scents. Beach Walk is my signature summer scent, and I love it. Beach Walk is wonderful. Coffee Coffee Time, Coffee Break by them is also a wonderful, wonderful scented one. Love that a lot. And a new to me one that I just got, this big perfume sampler thing, and like little samples. Not the one I got for my birthday. I'm saving those, the ones that are all the replica scents. But I got this one from an order with Sephora, and it was Was it Valentino? Donna perfume. Is that an option? Valentino Donna perfume. Yes, Valentino Donna. I'm really loving that smell. It smells like summer. I was like, oh, maybe this will be my signature summer scent. Or I have another summer scent, but like, it smells fruity. It's a fruity scent that's just really, really nice. So those, I think, are my current favorites. That was really long-winded. Apologies. Apologies. Da, 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 da. Not being able to find a red sweater is a low for me. Trying to branch out is good. Artemis deodorant. Slowly overcoming work-related anxiety. That's good. Low is still dealing with some, and I'm more behind than I thought. It's never fun to feel like you're behind. For sure. For sure. Next question. And remember, if you guys have any questions that you would like me to answer in real time, just pop them in the chat. But this is from Kim. She saw my Instagram stories this morning. When you eat prior to drinking your coffee, do you feel better digestion wise? So as I was talking about, I adulted today and actually ate food before I drank my coffee this morning. And the first answer is I will get back to you, because I have been, like, it's literally been at least a month and a half since I've been religiously, or as I've been no longer religiously trying to drink or eat before I drink my coffee. I've been off the wagon. I've been off the wagon. But I will say this: digestion wise, today I feel good. My energy is sustained, and here's the thing: I only had 1 cup of coffee today, and then I had like maybe it was a half of a second cup at 1 p.m. So I followed my chronotype today, and I had coffee later, and then a coffee break at like 1 o'clock. That wasn't even a full cup of coffee. It was just what was left in the pot because I didn't have my second cup earlier. And what I've been experiencing lately is my tummy feels unsettled after I have my coffee in the morning, which is one of the other things that made me go, maybe you should start eating before you drink your coffee again, Brianna. And I did not have that feeling today. I was perfectly satisfied and full, if you will, on the 1 cup of coffee after eating my hearty breakfast with protein and fiber and all of that. I had fruit. It was an egg fold over with a high fiber wrap. It was delightful. And then I sat down and, like, I had water. I didn't even have the coffee with my breakfast. I had it after my breakfast. So I ate, put everything away, got my journal and my stuff from my morning routine, and then sat down in the living room with my cup of coffee. And I had no sour stomach issues today. So, there's probably digestive wise really, really good things. I'm only on day 1 of behaving myself, so I will let you know. Ask me again next week just to, just to check in and be sure. Paulette, hello. It's good to see you. Thank you for coming in. Absolutely forgot this evening. It hasn't felt like Wednesday to me all day. So, I'm with you. Any ideas how to lift depression? That is above my pay grade, Andy. I am not a psychologist. I am not a therapist. I am not a medical professional. Therefore, I cannot dole out advice on how to lift clinical depression. That sounds like something that you need to talk to a doctor and a therapist about, though. I miss coffee, or I miss the idea of having coffee. Switch to tea. Switch to tea. That is the one thing I was thinking about for if I really am like, but what? Because now I'm combating. What if I don't want to eat first thing in the morning? I was not hungry this morning, and that has been my biggest thing. Is I have not been hungry, and so then I have uh, two different schools of thought roaming through my head. One is you should be hungry in the morning if your metabolism is functioning properly. And the other school of thought is, well, intermittent fasting's a thing. So if I'm not hungry, it's not a bad thing. And so those are pulling at each other today because I haven't been hungry. And again, I wonder if it's because of the hormonal implications of drinking coffee on an empty stomach and blah, like all the things, all the things. Um, so I thought that maybe possibly if I really wanted to start pushing off breakfast, we'll see. I'm hoping that maybe the way I ate today encourages me to be hungry when I wake up tomorrow. But I could start with tea and then transfer to coffee later. Is my thought. Rainy Chicago. Oh, I love Chicago. Hi, Kathy. I haven't seen you in a while, have I? Good to see you. Rainy. It was rainy here too, but we're in Florida, so it's not shocking. We went to bed, pouring rain. We woke up, pouring rain. We're like, did it rain all night? What the heck happened? So is Chicago just a mess right now? Because did you guys have any snow? You've gotten some snow, right? Have you had any accumulation since I've been down in Florida? Because I know Minnesota, we probably have at least a foot of snow that we didn't have when I left. But if you guys had snow and now it's raining, oh, it's got to be a mess up there. Please stay safe because that is not fun at all. Next question. Do you still use acacia fiber? And the answer is yes, but not on a religious basis. So acacia fiber, for those of you that don't know, is a fiber product that I purchased from Amazon and Now Foods. And it is a mix-in that works really, really well to up your fiber intake. Gone are the days of needing things like Metamucil or anything. No. You go and you buy acacia fiber, and it's awesome, and it's cheap, and it is good, and it doesn't cause any digestive problems, at least in my experience. It's good stuff. But I don't mix it into like everything, and I don't just like drink it with straight water either. I will mix it when I'm making Fab Four smoothies, or occasionally I will mix it into yogurt, which I'm gonna have to do now because did y'all know that Oikos Triple Zero removed the fiber from their product? That's one of the reasons that I ate Oikos Triple Zero is because, oh, look, it actually has a few grams of fiber in it. Congratulations to a yogurt company for making a stellar decision. And the other day I bought Oikos Triple Zero yogurt and I went and scanned it in my app, and I saw that the calories were off. It's usually 100 calories. It was 90. I'm like, oh, that's weird. So I started looking at the nutrition information to figure out what was different. The fiber was gone. And I complained about it on Instagram stories, and they actually reached out and said that due to supply chain issues, they can't have chicory root fiber or something anymore. And I was like, well, that's really unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. Paulette, because we just talked about this, do you have coffee on an empty stomach? When you have your coffee, what is the order of operations in your morning coffee routine? And is it coffee first, then food, or is it food first, then coffee? So there's no fiber in our yogurt, which means whether you buy Light and Fit yogurt, because I've been doing Oikos, even though I liked Light and Fit Greek yogurt too, but I was like, oh, there's no fiber in it. I'll get the one with more fiber in it. Don't have to do that anymore because I just have to mix fiber in myself, evidently. So yes, I do use acacia fiber, but not like every day. I use it in certain things. But we have 3 containers on hand because my husband uses it in his Fab Four smoothies as well. Yes, so eat food first. Eat food first, and it'll help your stomach. I promise. I promise. I promise. Um, it's snowing heavily where Andy is. I do like tea, but there's something about having coffee in the morning. I agree. Coffee is tea is a wonderful evening experience or afternoon experience, but my morning experience has to be coffee. I love it. Snow up in the northern suburbs. We're getting some snow maybe tomorrow and Friday. Okay. I like to sit and drink my coffee. More about a calm start to my morning. Our girl here told me that even like a mini Baby Bell cheese would help, but I'm not always faithful with that. Yes. So on most, no, not on most days, I haven't been good about it. But there have been now I've my hesitation with like, let me eat just a little something is because I know that I want to go back in like an hour or two and eat a real breakfast. And I'm like, well, I don't want to spend the calories on this 100-calorie thing if I'm just going to eat breakfast again. It's a me problem. It's a me problem. But yes. So if you could do just a little something, some days I chug some Fairlife nutrition shake. I don't know if that's the best choice. I'm guessing that there's a good, better, best in this scenario, right? Good is a bite of something. Make sure it's not on an empty stomach. Better is a protein bar, a Fairlife shake, a healthy eating on the go bar, a banana, things like that. And then best is sit down and actually eat your breakfast. Eat your eggs with your cheese and your Canadian bacon and your banana and everything and have the full meal and then have your coffee. So there's definitely a good, better, best scenario. So every day I should strive to at least make the good choice of eating something. Um, but yeah, I just haven't been. It's a me problem. It's a me problem. If I make it makes me feel sick all day. Yeah. So basically to circle back and answer Kim's question, based on the feedback here in the chat, yes, eating before having your coffee will absolutely help with digestive issues. And it's not just me. The peanut gallery here is also admitting to that, whether they intend to or not. Um, from now on, I will be eating before coffee. Yes, yes. Just coffee in the morning and on an empty stomach. Oh no. Um, exactly. Yeah. So we're gonna try. No, we're not gonna try. We are going to do, as Yetta says, there is no try, only do. Um, I'm going to eat before coffee and ask me again next week how that's going. And I will let you know. I will let you know. Heat bar because it touches. Yes. That on days that I don't want to have breakfast, that's my breakfast. Yep. Have to be leaving by 6:45 and I just can't plumb and I just can't. And Plum Don wants to actually eat breakfast before that. And you don't want to eat breakfast before that. Okay. Feel, flying to Australia. Oh, how exciting. How exciting. All right. Next question. Since we kind of mentioned this topic already, what do you think about intermittent fasting? Seems like a common fast is 16/8. And I think that it is a great tool to add to a health and wellness journey for some. I do not think it's for everybody. I do not think that 16/8 is the end all be all in terms of fasting times, but I do think that is a very legitimate tool. Why? Not because intermittent fasting in and of itself causes weight loss, because it does not. But what intermittent fasting does cause is a conscious awareness of when to eat and when to stop eating. So I find that intermittent fasting is a great thing to recommend to people who have nighttime snacking problems. Because basically, all you're doing is implementing a kitchen close time, and you're saying after 7 p.m., you're not allowed to eat anymore. Well, that's fine, right? All of us intermittent fast, whether we intend to or not. All of us do intermittent fasting. Sometimes it's 10 hours, sometimes it's 12 hours. I personally shoot for at least a 12-hour fast every night. Fasting is good for your body. Fasting allows your body to go through the other biological processes that it needs to go through that it stops going through the second you put food in your body. So here's the thing. If you are constantly eating food, the only biological process outside of the necessary ones that your body is doing all day long is digesting. It stops everything to digest your food, right? And then typically when you're done eating, you take a break. And so your body goes, oh, great, I'm done digesting. I can go over here and do this other thing, right? But if you are, it's like having a toddler. If you have a toddler who's constantly needing all of these things, you don't get to do anything else in your house, right? Because the toddler is there. Think of eating your food as the toddler. If you if the toddler is making a mess all the time and you're not maintaining the toddler, then this is your only focus, right? If you put the toddler down for a nap, you get to go do other things. Um, So intermittent fasting in and of itself is fine. There is more research appearing that says intermittent fasting is actually not ideal if you are a woman who still gets her cycle because it can have some hormonal implications. Studies have shown that women who are postmenopausal, it is more effective for, and men, it is more effective for. But women who are who still get their cycles do not necessarily benefit in the way, or it can do more harm than good, especially extreme intermittent fasting. So you have to discern what is best for you. I don't think there's anything wrong with a 12 to 12. 12 to 12 is just pretty standard. It means you can stop eating at 8 p.m. and you can eat breakfast at 8 a.m. And that feels like a very reasonable and manageable time, right? Technically, that's intermittent fasting. 16 hours, fine for some. 14 hours, better for women with who still get their periods. I keep pointing to myself because I'm one of those women. Um, but each body is different, right? Each body's different. Trudy, heat bars are healthy eating on the go bars. So healthy, my mother-in-law just ordered some literally at the dinner table because we were raving about them. And I'm trying to convince my in-laws that, like, if you're not willing to eat breakfast, at least eat one of these, right? Because it's good, it's balanced, it's clean, it's delicious, and the owner is a gem. So it's healthy-onthego.com. And I do have a discount code if you want it. It's Diva Divine hyphen 12. And message me and I'll send it to you. And she's wonderful. The product is wonderful. I call them heat bars because they used to be called, not a great name, healthy eating all the time and go bars. Heat, healthy eating all the time. And so I put them together, made an acronym, and that's what the community calls them now. Even though the name has been changed ever so slightly. But they're good. They're worth it. They're delightful. 100%. Doohickey. Oh, I was wondering why you said doohickey. Yes, that is our favorite word. You should definitely, or definitely, this woman is the sweetest woman. You are supporting a woman-owned small business, and she is absolutely 100% worth supporting every step of the way. She's wonderful. She's wonderful. To sell my dad on them for his go-to protein bars. Oh, I have bad news, Lissa. So when my mother-in-law was on the website, she noticed that the words for the apple did not say discontinued. They said, or they did not say sold out. They said discontinued. The apple bars have been discontinued, which is so sad because they were one of my favorites. They were one of my favorites. Next question. You mentioned starting a new weight training program. Can you tell us a little bit more about it? Thank you. I said thank you in that inflection because it was TYYYYY. Thank you. So I haven't started it yet. If I'm thinking of the thing that you're thinking of, I'm going to be starting. There's my new low for the week. I know, right? I'm going to be starting Lift More, which is the sequel to my beloved Beachbody Lift 4 program. But I haven't started it yet because I don't have a weight bench. I'm either getting a weight bench for Christmas or I'm going to make my husband buy me one when we get home. Either way, a weight bench will be appearing in my basement. And then I think it hits, Lift More hits Beachbody On Demand for no additional charge, I think February 1st or something like that. So the timing actually works out really well for me in terms of getting home and being able to jump into a new thing. So it is like Lift 4. The concept is the exact same, except it's one more day of weight training. The division of the muscles that you use are different. And instead of 10 reps, I think it pushes you to 12. So it's a little different. It's a little bit more intense. It's a little bit more work, but I'm really excited about it because I have not been lifting because I'm so jaded by the program. Even though I love the program, I'm so jaded. Does it say Smart for Life? Yeah, it probably does. It probably does. Let me take a look. Healthy on the go. Love at first bite. This is here. I'll put the website in the chat. This is not an affiliate link. Um, I feel like it used to. That's the website you want. Healthy on the go. So that if you didn't get the hyphen, oh, I wonder what happens if I take the hyphen away. Is that a different website? Oh no, it's not. Okay, it was just an error message. Although it's showing is discontinued, not showing. Interesting. It was showing on the my mother-in-law's phone. I don't know. Have you got your camera sorted yet, Brie? So for Instagram, the issue was not turning off live photo because I did that at your suggestion and it didn't change anything. What did help a little bit, but not entirely, was erasing the program, deleting Instagram, and re-downloading it. Because the problem is not my camera on the phone specifically. It is only when I use it with Instagram. That's the biggest problem. Sorry, and I'm picking at my nail, and I need to not be because I'm going to break my nail. I'm a nail. When my nails get long, I start to pick at them, and it's not good. So the problem is Instagram. It's them. It's not me. It's them. If Eric's gonna do Lift more too and you don't get it, it's an anniversary present. Yeah, no kidding. He probably will. He started doing Lift again after doing months and months and months of just 645. He started doing Lift again while we were here because he needed something different. So he will probably, I can't imagine he wouldn't try Lift more when it comes. So that's my guess. So that's the program that I think I mentioned that I'm starting. I just haven't started it yet. Did I answered that? I answered that. I answered that. Okay. What wild cards do you mostly use in your power sheets? Wild cards, for those of you who don't know, are like these little extra pages that you can purchase, which, by the way, paying for the printed versions are not worth it this year. They took the color away. They're really kind of sad. You can look back at my power sheets review video to hear my utter disappointment in this fact. But the ones that I don't actually use them a whole lot, to be completely honest with you. But the ones that I enjoy filling out the most are the books I'm going to read next and the books that I've read. And I also really like filling in the fun lists, even though I never actually like follow through on them. It's kind of fun to brainstorm on them. Okay. Oh, here's the answer. Here, I have a real answer now. I use the goals at a glance. Those I use every single quarter to put down my regular goals and then my refreshed goals throughout the rest of the year. So those are definitely the ones I use the most, but those other ones that I mentioned are ones that I enjoy using, but I don't use them with any sort of consistency. So, and then the last question that was submitted, so y'all are up, come up with something for us to chat about, was do you think you'll be able to lose your 37 pounds by your 37th birthday? What change will you make to get there? And yes, I do. I do think I can do it because if I say no, I don't think I can do it, I'm already going to fail. You have to have confidence in your ability to achieve any sort of goal. And the second you go, well, I'm going to try to do this, but I don't think I can do it, you're done. You're done. It's not going to happen for you because if you don't believe you can do it, guess what? You're right. What's that quote? Whether you say you can or you say you can't, you're right. That's absolutely 100% true. So here's the thing. Do I think I can do it? Yes. Do I know that I can do it? Yes. Does the number have to be 37? No. That is, I titled it that because 37 would put me at a weight that I would be happy with. And 37 by 37 sounded pretty. And you all know that I am a sucker for titles. And so if it was 40, if I was turning 40, I would have called it 40 by 40, even if I don't have to lose 40 pounds, like that's just how I am with titles. I love titles. So, do I think I can do it? Yes. Do I also think that maybe it's possible that I get to 30 or 25 and go, that's enough? Yes. I am very much, I'm buckled down and I'm ready to, oh, Kim, after I've answered all 4 of your questions, I literally just finished answering your last question. And they brought up good topics. You'll have to go and look at the replay. They were all very, very good questions. But hi, it is so good to see you, whether you are late, better late than never. So I'm in the right headspace to it's a lot harder here. Let me tell you, it is a lot harder here. But I am confident in my ability to, especially when we get home. What is helping me is my husband is like, I need to lean up a little bit. So when we get home, we're both gonna buckle down, which is really nice because it's gonna make it easier for me to say, just don't bring the stuff into the house. Just don't bring it into the house. And so I'm already anticipating making some more slightly more restrictive choices without, going off the deep end and all that jazz in terms of like total restriction. That's not a thing anymore. We don't do total restriction, but I am going to have to like maybe not bring some foods that I tend to overeat into the house and things like that. And so those are some of the changes that I'm going to make, but everything else is just going to be freaking keep the promises I make to myself. And when I say this is my calorie goal for the day, stick to the stupid calorie goal. That's that's really it. The weight loss journey, and that's why it's hard. Like part of me is really like I was even thinking about, because the weight loss is such a big part of what my goals are for 2023. As I'm doing this HB90 goal setting and task assignment and stuff for my business goals, I'm it's taking me so much effort to not throw my weight loss goal in with the goals that I'm planning in HB90. But the reality is the way HB90 breaks things down, like you're literally assigning times and tasks and to blocks and all of these things, and it doesn't make sense for necessarily. Could you make it make sense? Yes, you could, but it doesn't in my mind make sense to put the health goal there, because the health goal is such a constantly happening thing. Yes, there's little habits that you have to do, but like yes, there's weekly meal prep. So like that's one of the things I'm going to be better at: meal planning, meal prepping. But you got to drink your water every day. You got to meet your protein goal, got to meet your calorie goal, got to get your steps in, got to get your sleep. There's all of these little things that are not necessarily changes. There are no major changes that are being made. No major changes except the new workout program. Once I start Lift More, that will be the only change that happens. It is less about changing things and more about becoming more adherent to the daily habits that I set for myself. Instead of being like, oh, it's okay if I don't get all the steps. Being more self-disciplined, being more leaning into delayed gratification. Oh, maybe I can have this, I want this chocolate now, but maybe I shouldn't have this chocolate now. If I still want it later, I can have it as dessert later. Or maybe I shouldn't eat all of this now. I can delay gratification and eat some of it tomorrow, which is actually just a great thing. Like if you can delay gratification that way, instead of eating all of it now and separating it and eating it in two times, you get to eat it twice. Like that should be easy, right? That should be exciting. So focusing on a little bit more of the self-discipline and delayed gratification stuff. But other than that, it's not about change, it's about adherence. That's really what it is. Um, yeah. So do I think I can do it? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Um, Goals at a glance, the main reason I bought the wild card. You should. I love reading new books. I just finished A City Baker's Guide to Country Living, y'all, and it was so good. It was so good. I loved it. I felt like I was reading a Hallmark movie, which is exactly what I thought. Exactly what I thought. But I loved the plot. I loved the writing. It was just oh, it was so good. And now I really want to go to Vermont for Christmas, just because everything, I feel like everything takes place in Vermont, or something that's supposed to be Vermont. And it's so cute and so fun and so small town, and it just makes me so happy. It was a great book. City Baker's Guide. Oh, excuse me. To Country Living. You lift weights when exercise. Yes, I do. So for me, there's two different types of exercise. There's walking. There's getting my steps in on a daily basis. Did I do it today? I did. I'm at 12,800 steps today. Huzzah! I didn't get to do my 11,000 yesterday. So it's good that I'm a little bit ahead. But so there's the walking, there's the NEAT, there's the non-exercise activity thermogenesis. That is just the act of living your daily life. It is the cleaning of the house. It is the walking into the grocery store. It is the running around chasing your toddler, or in my case, my dog, because apparently Gracie and I actually did a whole chase game yesterday that she started. We chased each other around for about 5 minutes. It was hysterical. So the non-exercise, the non-deliberate exercise also can include walking and things like that. That's one form of exercise for me, right? And then there's the weightlifting. There's the strength training. There's getting these look at these shoulders, y'all. Look at these shoulders. Boom, boom. Um, weightlifting, because weightlifting is where a lot of magic happens. Weightlifting is where all of the toning happens. Toning your muscles doesn't mean like, oh, I'm just going to make them a little bit tighter. No, the toned look that everybody wants means you build muscle and then you shed the fat that's around it. That's what toned is. You got to strength train in order to get the toned look. You got to lift heavy in order to get the toned look. So this is just a drop in the bucket. Man, feel good about these arms tonight. I like it. Um, I haven't admired my shoulder muscles in a while because I've been feeling real flabby, but that felt good. That felt good to be like, oh look, no, they're still there. Cool. Um, so yes, I lift weights when I exercise, and I'm really looking forward to consistently lifting weights again very soon because I have not been consistent. And I'm starting to be a realist about expectations, especially when I'm in Florida. It is I'm not necessarily going to commit to I'm going to lift 4 days a week every week. No. Next week is the week of Christmas, y'all. I have some major things on my schedule that are going to put my priorities elsewhere. I know this, and so I've kind of been like hot girl walks, the walks. I got finally after 2 days off, I got back on the treadmill today and it felt really, really good. Just to walk a bit, and then there's a cool front coming in, so hopefully I'll get to walk outside a little bit next week. And if that's my activity for now, fine. And if I have to wait to lift weights until I get home, that's fine. Um, but yes, definitely lift the weights. My doctor has always told me take my meds. Yes, that is wildly, wildly important. I saw a video from somebody that I follow who was talking about the year that she had, and she suffers from really, really bad depression. She goes, I had the worst bout of depression that I had had in years. And she goes, one of the things I learned is don't just stop taking your meds. You got to take your meds, guys. You got to take your meds. Um, Exercise and take one day at a time. Yes, you can Google it, how to get through depression. That's great advice, Paulette. That's great advice. Used to have so many little tweaks to my food that I just didn't get into lately, but they really worked for me then. Yeah. Yeah, and that's part of it for me is going to be going back to some of the things that I know worked in the past, but also embracing a lot of the new things that I learned as well, you know? One day at a time. Don't beat yourself up if you're not having a good day. Good advice. Good advice. Weightlifting is first priority in changing the shape of your body. Yes. Calorie deficit. Yes, that's 100%. That is 100%. And I have to keep reminding myself of that because sometimes I get so wrapped up in the food intake that I'm like, oh, I'm failing again and eating in my calorie deficit, that I have to remember that like that's not the only thing. That's not the only thing. Now, my husband and I, we went for a date night on Friday, and we did like we had a little bit of talk for like our health goals and things like that, and I talked about wanting to give lift more a try and really want to devote this year to trying to like, because my goal, yes, I have a number goal, but the reality is I have like the goal, the way I listed it is to be my strongest self. That's the goal that I have for 2023. And yep, I did it. I peeled off my thing because I've been picking at my nail, y'all. Um, so I was talking about, the lifting weights and this, and I'm like, and I want to go gung ho and about the weightlifting. I was telling you about this, and then my husband, who has learned about me and about metabolisms and about all of that through me, right? He looked at me and goes, "Yeah, but you might want to be careful about the gaining the muscle by eating in a calorie surplus," because he's like, "I'm not quite sure you can do that," and it was a really, really sweet way for him to be like, I don't want you to eat too much food and start to gain weight when your goal is the exact opposite. You need to be careful. And which he's very aware. And he's like, yeah, I don't know that you should do the surplus. And I was like, no, I don't plan on. And he's like, I just don't think your body can handle it, which is true. We don't know the biological stuff like number wise what my body's doing, but what do we know about my body that we've discussed in the past? My body needs an extreme deficit to lose. And thus, if I go into the surplus for the sake of gaining, I'm probably going to gain more fat than muscle because my body takes so long to build. So I am going to do the whole lift heavy things while trying to be in a calorie deficit, and I'm going to see what happens. What's the worst thing that can happen? Um, there's really no awful thing that can happen. So it's an experiment. I am experimenting on myself and we're going to see how it goes. But I remind myself that, like, You can do all the deficits, you can do the whatever. Remember that even if you're eating the same number of calories as you were the first time you got down to your goal weight, remember you don't want to look like you did entirely. Like, would I like to be that thin again? Well, no, 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 I would not. Would I like to feel that confident again? Yes, yes, I would. But I remember how I looked with the really scrawny, like I could break your, snap you like a twig. That's not cute. And so I'm reminding myself of this as I'm like, you want to make sure that the result is a little bit different than the last time you did it. So, what are you going to do differently? Instead of being a cardio bunny, you got to lift the weights. Do the steps, but you got to lift the weights. You got to up the protein. You got to, weightlifting is the key to changing the shape of my body. And I need to remember that. Kim said it beautifully. Hope it will help me be more consistent with lifting. Yep. Yep. One thing I've learned about depression is that it cycles. That is what I've heard for a lot of people. A lot of people. Even when things are super bad, I'm never too worried because it passes eventually. Yeah, I've seen that, and like obviously it's not for everybody, and I don't know from personal experience, but a lot of people, like even this girl I was watching on YouTube today, she said I went through another bout of depression, and that's what happens. She gets real low, and then she comes out of it, and she goes about her life until she hits another real big low. Um, and that's just how it goes. So I've heard that from multiple people actually. But yeah. All right. I think I got to everybody's questions. Does anybody have a question that they need to ask before I let y'all go? It takes a lot of little things to get healthy. Yes, it takes that. And that's the thing I want you to remember for anything, for getting healthy, for helping yourself through depression, for literally anything, for becoming a New York Times bestseller, for getting to 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, for making your first $1,000,000. It all takes a lot of little things. No one big thing, with the rare exception of I won the lottery. I had one video go wildly viral, things like that. With the exception of those very, very few instances, every success is a lot of little things. It's never one big thing. And that's something I think it's important to remember, especially as we are in the middle of 2023 goal setting season right now. We have big dreams, we have big goals, but we have to remember that those big dreams and goals are made up of little things that we do once a week, day to day, little things. It's not one big thing that's going to get you there. Have you ever seen that image of like the two people climbing the ladder, and one person's rungs are really, really far apart, and he's struggling to get up the ladder because his steps are so huge. And that's supposed to be the person who's like, let me set this big lofty goal. And the first goal is to get 25% of the way there, come hell or high water, right? Whereas there's the other guy with the ladder who has little rungs, and he's going real quick up the ladder because his steps are so tiny that he's making bigger progress than the person who has the really big steps that he needs to take. And I think it's a really, really legitimate illustration of achieving any sort of goal or any sort of thing, really. I've been dealing with some degree of depression since I was in elementary school, so it's been a while. Yep. Consistency is wildly important, and it's the thing that so many of us forget, especially on a day that we do really, really well and then don't see the results immediately. We forget that, oh wait, I have to do that again and again and again and again and again. Or on a day that we have a bad day and we're like, oh my gosh, I ate 4,000 calories and I'm never going to be able to do this. It was one day. We just have to remember that we can make better choices tomorrow, and then we can make the better choices again. And what has to net out is the days we met our goals, our small goals, has to be greater than the days we don't. So, yeah. Oh, thanks, Paulette. So friends, next week is the week of Christmas. I cannot even believe it. Yeah, it's next week is the week of Christmas, which is crazy to me. So, one thing I will say, mark your calendars now or unmark your calendars now. I did say that, oh, nothing was going to interrupt me having the Wednesday live streams, but in a couple of weeks, it's still weeks away. But January 4th falls on a Wednesday night, and that's my wedding anniversary. So I'm thinking I'm not going to do the live stream. Maybe I'll do an afternoon live stream that day. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'm going to move it now for anybody who is subscribed to my calendar. I'm going to move it now just in case. So it's not for sure this time, but I'm moving it just to remind me that I'm going to have an afternoon live stream on the 4th. Okay. So I can be free to hang out with my husband on our wedding anniversary. But other than that, I will see all of you same time next week because Christmas does not interfere with Wednesday. So thank you for hanging out with me. This was so much fun. Good questions, good conversation, good people, some faces we haven't seen in a while, which is always so lovely. So I really appreciate you guys coming and spending the hour with me. It is wonderful. Is to make a word and establishmentarianism. It is a Wednesday. Some good for the afternoon if that's what happens. Cool. So I will let y'all go. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I will talk to you guys next week. Get all that Christmas shopping done. Oh, look at that. Right on time.